Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we have some more big news coming out of the Big Apple in Manhattan as the New York Rangers have a very, very upset young prospect. We're going to take a look at Nils Lundkvist, who apparently went to Jeff Gorton, the GM of the Rangers, and said he would like a trade request out of the New York Rangers organization. So we're going to take a look at that, where he may be a good fit, what the Rangers could get in return. We'll go over that today. So Nils Lundkvist is requested a trade out of the Big Apple and as a part of the New York Rangers organization. Now you look at where he sits on the depth chart, this isn't all that surprising. And it's kind of sounded like the Rangers have tried to trade him for a little while now. He's been in the rumor mill for a while, throughout pretty much all this spring and now into the summer. And he's kind of realized that and said, listen, I'm looking at the depth chart. I don't see much of a space for me. And is looking for a trade. Now, obviously, this would be kind of upsetting because this would mean that a Lundkvist is out of the Rangers organization. So that would be kind of upsetting. But it kind of sounds like it's a little bit more than just the name at this point. So, according to the New York Rangers, are engaged in an accelerated effort to trade Nils Lundkvist, per the New York Post. The 22-year-old defender has informed the club he will not report to training camp if he's not traded this summer, citing a logjam at the right-hand defensive spot on the Rangers' blue line. And this was to be expected, with Adam Fox and Jacob Trouba ahead of him. So he wants to be a top four defenseman. And I can't really say I blame him for that necessarily. The New York Rangers are working with his agent, Claude Lemieux, to find the player a trade for a team where he will have an opportunity to challenge for a top four spot and a role as a power play quarterback. They are seeking a semblance of equal value in return. So the backstory of Nils Lundkvist. Nils Lundkvist, the 22-year-old Swedish defenseman. He's a right-shot defenseman, which teams will definitely be looking for. He is a 2018 draft pick prospect, coming 28th overall in the first round by the New York Rangers. And he's only played a couple games in the NHL. Doesn't have a ton of experience. I actually saw him in the American Hockey League this season with the Hartford Wolfpack. He played 25 games with the Rangers this season, 4 points, a goal, his first NHL goal, and 3 assists. But he spent most of his season in Hartford with the Hartford Wolfpack, where he picked up 34 games down in the AHL and 15 points. So he really wasn't, for a guy that's kind of promoting himself as an offensive defenseman trying to get power play quarterback minutes, he didn't really do that much in the American Hockey League. So not really sure what he was looking for there. Again, 15 points in 34 games. That's almost a point per game as a defenseman in the AHL. That is still impressive, but again, to be demanding top 4 minutes in the NHL, I think that's a little bit of a stretch here. Now, that's kind of the situation with what's happened in New York. So where do we see a trade? So I kind of tried to make a couple of teams that I think would be a real good fit for Nils Lundkvist. So here's what I've got. So the first one isn't really going to probably surprise a lot of you guys, but I'm going up to Canada. And I'm not going to go to Calgary, and I'm not going to go to Vancouver, but I'm going to go to Edmonton. The Edmonton Oilers, you look at their blue line right now. They do have a couple of good right-shot defensemen, but I think Nils Lundkvist could maybe come in here. So on the right side, you have Tyson Barrie, Cody Ceci, Brett Kulak, Slater Cuckoo, and Evan Bouchard. Now, the only guy there that I think is really worth his salt in the top 4 at this point, nothing against Tyson Barrie, is Evan Bouchard. So if you have Evan Bouchard and Nils Lundkvist as your top 4 blue line on the right side, I think the Oilers would be improved there. And that would allow the Oilers, which they've been trying to do, is trade Tyson Barrie all summer to create cap space. They would be able to do that. Now here's the other thing. The Oilers also have something that the Rangers could use, which is a young, up-and-coming winger. What about Jesse Puljujarvi? Would the Rangers be interested in a guy like Puljujarvi? Again, it's a minimal risk situation, right? Nils Lundkvist doesn't want to be there. Jesse Puljujarvi doesn't want to be there with the Rangers. I think there could be a real fit there, right? Let me know what you guys think of that. But that's my first mock trade. The Oilers in a straight-up deal for Jesse Puljujarvi. I don't know how Rangers fans would feel about Puljujarvi, but again, it's something to look at the very least. So now we kind of look around, and who else is out there? So there's a couple of different teams that you could kind of say maybe there's a fit. I looked at Montreal, maybe, but again, not. I don't see something that would really be enticing for the Rangers coming back. So we're gonna head out west, and we're gonna head to the Los Angeles Kings. Now, the Los Angeles Kings are kind of an interesting team because you look at their group. They have Matt Roy, Jordan Spence, and Sean Durzi. Now, I don't think that blue line is too bad, but they've been linked to Jacob Chikrin, who I would say is a little better than, Nils Lundkvist. But in the return, I think they could get something pretty good here. So if the Rangers were to trade Nils Lundkvist to LA, what would they want in return? And I'm kind of going with the same premise here in terms of a younger player. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to get a Quentin Byfield or... Do you want Lias Andersson back? Probably not. But there's a couple of different pieces that I think could be a part of this. I don't think they necessarily need a center, so I don't think a guy like Rasmus Kupari or Gabe Vilardi is on the table. But what about a guy like Arthur Kaliev? He's a 21-year-old guy, a pretty early draft pick of the Kings, a second-round pick in 2019. He's got a couple of NHL games under his belt. He played all last season in LA, and he picked up 14 goals last year as a member of the Los Angeles Kings. So I think Arthur Kaliev would be some nice scoring depth for the New York Rangers. So, and on an entry-level contract, I think that's a win. So I think that the Rangers, those are the two teams. I would say try and keep them off the East Coast if possible. And you're trading him to LA and Edmonton, who could use some defensive depth on the right side. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of these Nils Lundkvist trade rumors? Do you think they are possible? What would you like to see in return for Nils Lundkvist? Do you like Puljujarvi? Do you like Kaliev in LA? Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.